Hello, welcome to Cozy Reads with Sarah. I'm Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I have not filmed in a while because it's autumn. It's October. I can't believe we have 10 days until Halloween. I am so sad. As you can see, I love Halloween. I said I was not going to buy any more Halloween decorations. We got rid of a lot last year when we moved here. And unfortunately, or fortunately, we went a little crazy and bought a bunch more Halloween decorations this year. And I absolutely love it. We have our outside decorated, we have our rooms decorated, and it just makes me so happy. My husband and I went up to northern New Mexico and went apple picking. Well, we didn't go apple picking, we went to an apple orchard. They do not allow you to pick your own apples, which was really sad. I wanted to do some apple picking. However, we bought apples, which we're still eating almost 2 weeks later, and we bought a gallon of apple cider, which I love apple cider. And it makes me so happy because last year we bought some apple cider from the grocery store and it did not taste like apple cider. It tasted like apple juice. So getting to have fresh pressed apple cider is really exciting, and I think I'm gonna make some apple juice. We have a juicer from all the apples because we still have quite a bit left and we've been eating like apples nonstop. Besides that, besides going to the apple orchard and just decorating, besides doing all of that, I started a new channel. I started a vlog, Desertdreamvlog, and my first video is live, and I'm sure by the time this posts, my part 2 of that video will be live. So the first one is unboxing of slimes from Momo Slimes, which that's the ones from Momo Slimes, is the autumn reading. It smells so good. I'm not gonna pull it out and play with it just because I'm gonna be touching my books and I don't want to get slime all over it, but I love the way, this one's my favorite, the way it smells and the consistency and just everything. I love playing with this slime. It's so fun. So if you like unboxings and you like slime, go check out those videos. I know I'm a little crazy. This channel, the Desertdreamvlog, is my 4th YouTube channel, but I am retiring Sarah's Prismatic Musings. I keep saying I'm gonna film the last video and say like an official goodbye, but I have not yet, but we will see. I picked up 2 library books, 2 physical books, which I really didn't need to because my autumn reading list was over about like 25, 26 books. So I picked up The Language of Tattoos, 130 Symbols, but this is just really like a picture book. So it's gonna be easy to read. It's more, you know, for fun. And then I got Blood and Lightning, Unbecoming a Tattooer by Dustin Kiskadon. And this is like a short little book. It is, not counting the reference pages, let me see, or the appendix. Let's see, 212 pages. So that's a pretty quick book to read. I do have to get to these books because they are due back on Halloween. And then I have, let me see if I can pick up the whole physical pile of books. Now a lot of these on my physical TBR are comics or graphic novels. So I should be able to get these all read. Let me hold this big old pile up for you to see. So I am about 80% done with Kiki's delivery service. I could have finished this yesterday. We had crazy rain, record rainfalls here in Roswell, New Mexico. Saturday night, we got about almost 6 inches in 6 hours. Sunday morning was flooded. Downtown, we were told to, order to stay in place, stay at home, let the workers clear the roads. There's a lot of debris. I heard a friend told me 1 person passed, which is really sad. It was really scary Saturday night. I wasn't worried about flooding, even though our chimney, we were getting water in our chimney, which, you know, we don't have a cover on our stove, which we have to do on our chimney. We need to cover it, but I didn't think we would get flooding. I was afraid of a tornado because the wind was so intense. It was so insane. I was afraid of that. I didn't realize that flooding was happening in Phoenix. When it would rain, it would flood certain areas of the road and certain areas. It didn't really necessarily do much damage, but here there's debris in the streets. Our museum was ruined. We take art classes there and things, and one of my friends' pottery got ruined, which it's really sad. It's really sad that someone died and things got destroyed, especially downtown with all the businesses. I love the businesses downtown. They're so fun. And I haven't left the house, so I don't know how it is. My husband went out today, just tried to go to the library to return some movies we had watched, and they were closed. Everything with the state and city and probably county jobs, unless, you know, it's directly related to the cleanup, were closed down today. So hopefully we don't get any more rain or any more storms like that for the rest of the year, because it's gonna take a minute for the cleanup. This book, Mooncakes by Wendy Zhu and Suzanne Walker, I read. This was actually a reread for me. If you like witches and werewolves, it's a cute little story, very autumnal theme, and it takes place around Halloween. I would say kind of like they have like something kind of like a Thanksgiving in here. So it follows a teen witch, Nova, and her werewolf friend, Tam. So this is Nova and this is Tam. I want to know what mooncakes are, and I want some. So there is some queer representation and queer love in here. The werewolf is non-binary and goes by they, them. So this is just a quick, easy read. I bought this actually a couple years ago when I was up in Portland, Oregon at Powell's, and it was during, I think it was either October or November, and so it's fall, and yeah, it's a good reread. I'm also going to reread Rainbow Rowell's Pumpkinheads. This book is super cute, and it's about two friends who work together at this like pumpkin patch, and it's just really cute. Again, a lot of these are going to be quick and easy, like Garlic and the Witch, Unfamiliar. I haven't read this one yet. The Moth Keeper, Moonstruck, Camp Spirit, The Sprite, and The Gardener, which I guess I could kind of read this. This seems almost more like summer, so I don't know why I added it. I guess I just want to read all my graphic novels. So those are graphic novels and rereads on my TBR, my physical TBR. And then I have 4 novels. I have T. Kingfisher's A House with Good Bones and Leopoldo Gout's Pinata, which I'm really excited to read. So on my autumn to read list on Kindle or checking out from the library is Horrid by Katrina Leno, My Sister the Serial Killer. I don't want to butcher the name, so I'm not going to try to say it. Rebecca by Daphne DeMar, Bluebeard's Castle by Anna Biller, which I knew Anna Biller was supposed to be making a movie, so I'm hoping her movie is released soon. I loved her movie, The Love Witch, one of my favorite movies. The First Horror by R.L. Stine. I really am feeling nostalgic and I really want to reread R.L. Stine, so I got that on Kindle. one of those like stuff your Kindle or like the free things. I got this book, Twisted Tales of Halloween Horror by Lorraine Knight. So I'm excited for that one. Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist by Allie K. Mulford. Pumpkin Picking with Murder, Aura Lee Wallace. I'm also reading right now on Kindle. I'm reading Coraline. I'm like 55% done with that. I think I like the movie better than the book. The book isn't really like sucking me in, taking kind of a lot longer than I expected to read that book. Rosemary's Baby, I have it waiting for me to listen to on Audible through Libby from my library. And also Frankenstein, I'm waiting for from the library. So somebody reminded me, technically, you know, autumn goes through like what, mid-December, or, you know, like the beginning of December or whatever. So they're like, you don't have to finish all the books by Halloween, which that takes some pressure off, because I don't know, I may go into a reading slump after this. I'm definitely having my best reading year of all my adulthood, so that's exciting. I have been reading a lot. So for the books that I have finished The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst. I gave it 4 stars. It's a cozy fantasy, and it's about Keela and a spider plant named Kaz, who was Keela's assistant in the Royal Library. Now, it starts out like we learn that she and Kaz live in the Royal Library, and she doesn't like to leave. She doesn't really know her coworkers. She doesn't really know anybody. Most people have left the library already because there's a revolution and the king has been overthrown. So her and Kaz flee in the middle of the night as the library is burning down around them, and they rescue books, which it's illegal for her to take these books because she works with the magical books, and unless you're ordained or approved by the king, no one else can practice magic. As we learn later on in the story, magic used to be used freely. So at first, she doesn't know where she's gonna go, where they're gonna live. She doesn't feel prepared. She didn't really pack a lot other than these, I think it was like 8 or 9 crates of books that she was saving. And she loves books, so I understand that. I'd probably do the same thing. But once they, you know, escape and they know they're safe, she decides to go to an outer island where she grew up with her parents. They moved when she was around 11 years old to go to the city. Her parents wanted to live in the city. They wanted the hustle and bustle of city life. So she decides to see if their home is still there or if somebody has moved in. No one has moved in. Now, most of the townspeople remember her and welcome her with open arms. And she decides to look through the magic books and decides that she's going to help her mother's garden grow by using magic. And she opens a shop where she creates jams and sells them. So it's a really slow, quiet book. I loved the magical creatures. It's not something that I would typically enjoy, but the mystical creatures were so fantastical and the writing was so cozy that I really enjoyed being in this magical world. I wouldn't have minded living there. The creatures, the mystical beings, the magic was so cool, and this community coming together and just embracing her. Now, Keela is a little unlikable, but Kaz is so awesome. He's funny and he's such a good friend. So I loved the spider plant sidekick, assistant, whatever. He chose her and they were definitely a found family. So this is a story about found family, you know, magic, and there's a little romance, a little, you know, Kyla, is it Kyla or Keela? Kyla likes to, you know, she's an introvert. She just likes to be with her book. She doesn't really like people, but there's a little romance in there, so it's cute. And then I read, okay, so I gave that one a 4-star rating. Mooncakes, I think I've also gave 4 stars. It's just a quick autumnal vibed read, and there's some, romance. I then read this book because I was like, I want to read autumn themed cozy mysteries. So I got this one on sale through Chirp. Candy Corn Murder by Leslie Meyer. I gave it 2.5 stars. Let me tell you, one of the main characters' name, or a friend of the main character, his name was Corny Clark. Need I say more? They went and got apples from Old MacDonald's farm. The main protagonist is a grandmother, and she is a very naive reporter. And I would say a kind of a bad marriage. And the book was very domestic. It was very mundane. There was a lot of her dropping her grandson off to school and her main day-to-day life and about her children. It was also very boring. It was like more than halfway through, and the only murder that had happened was the murder of pumpkins. I will definitely not be reading any more of this series. It was painful to listen to. Luckily, it was an Audible, so I could listen to it at 2 times speed. So I don't recommend that book. The next book that I read started out so strong. It's called Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. I gave it a 3.5 stars. It started out as a 5-star read. It's such a slow burn and creepy, and you know that this family is in the haunted house. So it starts out with the protagonist. She's in Italy by herself. She wants a day or two in Italy without her family. And then she gets a ride in the taxi to this villa where her parents rented out for the whole villa for them for like this week stay in Italy. And she gets a warning about staying there. And so the kind of like tension keeps building, and then these grandmas try to give her the amulet against the evil eye, and of course she doesn't take it because she doesn't think she needs it. So the protagonist is Anna. It's from her perspective. She has a twin brother named Benny and an older sister, and she is definitely the black sheep. Her family keeps bringing up things from her past that she's done and like hold it against her, and everything's blamed on Anna for going wrong. And I'm reading the blurb on Kindle, and it says, warning, may invoke feelings of irritation, dread, and despair that come with large family gatherings. And yes, it definitely did. It was 296 pages. Like I said, it started out so strong, with Anna really not heeding the warnings from the locals, from the townspeople. She knows there's something wrong, and she keeps trying to alert her family, and she asks them to leave, and nobody wants to leave, and they're all basically just accusing her of trying to ruin the vacation, that she just doesn't want to be with them. She is the only person there alone without a significant other. She has no children, and her sister always thinks that she's trying to steal her boyfriend or her husband or whatever. And so there's just so much family tension against this backdrop of beautiful Italy and all this amazing food. And really, it's just a story about dysfunctional families and how the black sheep are the strong ones and save themselves. I kind of really didn't like the ending because it felt too neat and perfect. The last part of the book just became kind of, I don't know, I didn't like it. The first part when they're in Italy and it's her and her family, it was creepy and it was interesting, and then it became okay. The next book I read was Do Nothing by Celeste Headlee. I really enjoyed part one of this book. Now, she's not advocating for us to literally do nothing. She's just saying that, you know, if we have some more balance in our life and we put our phones down and we like read a physical book, or we just hang out with friends or family without any devices, that it will give our brains a break. And why we feel more busy today than ever before is because we're always on. She talks about how we like answer texts within like literally like seconds, and or like 3 minutes or whatever, and then emails, usually it's like within an hour at the most. I really enjoyed part one of this book where she discusses the history of labor, and she talks about how up until the Industrial Revolution, before the Industrial Revolution, people had a lot more time off and they didn't work as long. They worked only however long they needed to get the job done, or whatever their trade was done. And how they got almost 6 months off a year, and they got all these holidays, and there was a big sense of community and people worked together. Now in part two, this is where I kind of feel that the book became kind of classist and elitist, because she makes a statement that she started working more, being self-employed, than when she was an employee. And that may be the case. And she kind of says that, like, it feels like she's saying that people who she kind of does. She says that people who make more money work harder and work more and are on all the time. Now, they may be on all the time, but I don't think they work harder. So I think that it's really elitist of her to say, and this book is really more for people who are in management positions or self-employed or gig workers. And she's really advocating that you don't respond to your emails right away and you don't return calls right away, and because once you do that, you set the precedent that people expect you to do that, and that she tells people, I will get back to you and email like in 1 to 2 business days, or I'll return your call, and you know, and that we should just slow down. So if you are a gig worker or you work for yourself or your management, you can do that. But if you're in customer service or any kind of public servant, you can't. Or say you work construction, you can't do that. Like, and I would argue that people who work construction or work manual labor jobs like janitorial, or you work pretty hard. I would say that lunch ladies and janitors and, you know, nurses work harder than any office worker or any upper management person. Sorry, but not sorry. Like, so the second part just lost me. A lot of the things she was saying, yeah, okay, we know that, but if your job is literally a telemarketer, you have to answer the phone, or you have to answer emails. Like, that's literally your job. And you can't be getting up, you know, after 15 minutes of sitting, or even after an hour. You get the breaks you get, if you get those breaks, if you're lucky. I worked as a public servant for a decade, and I also worked retail, and especially retail and food service. You don't get breaks. you maybe get to go to the bathroom, and that's it. But you eat standing up and you eat on the floor, and you don't get to go sit down. So it's weight, and then being, a public servant, there's expectations, there's always work, there's always people to see, there's always emails, there's like, and I do agree that especially upper management and middle management, they just have meetings to feel important. But if they were on the floor working, maybe that's what they need to do, is step in and help, because I know that as a worker bee, we were overwhelmed. They pulled us the trick of streamlining things, or to justify getting rid of people, but you're doing the work of 3 or 4 people. So they say breaks are not a guarantee. So if you're too busy, you can't go take a break. But it's not right that if you have to go to the restroom, that your supervisor follows you in, because they're so busy that your presence is missed for the 5-10 minutes that you need to go to the bathroom. So my point is that, if you are not in upper management or middle management, you don't get the luxury to get up and take a walk. I have worked jobs where that was never an option. Like, most of the time I had to sit at my desk and have somebody on the other side of the desk for the full 8 hours, or else I would be ran out. So anyway, I digress. Part 1 of the book of Do Nothing, excellent. It would have been a 5-star, the history and how much time off our ancestors really had. And it wasn't until the Industrial Revolution where time equaled money. Before, it was job equaled money, or crops equaled money, but now it's time. And so she's saying that should change. So really, I personally don't think that what changes need to be made are on an individual level. It has to come from a policy level of the company, but especially the governments. So governments need to implement that there's X number of paid leave days, there's X number of vacation days, of sick leave, maternity, paternity leave. I like this new law that was implemented in Australia, where businesses cannot expect you to, is it answer the phone or emails? It's one of those or both of those when you're not at work. And I think that laws like that need to go into effect. And we really, as a culture, need to step back and pull apart our belief that work is the end all and be all of life, that work will make you happy. She cites studies that say that work will not make you happy, that it's a sense of community and belonging is what will make you happy. And we think that our work friends are our friends, but she states, like clear as day, that work friends do not constitute friends. And that's really sad, because I know that the majority of my friends have been coworkers. I have stayed in contact with a few of my coworkers who I really am friends with through the years. But I know what she's saying is that, back in the day, people went to church. Well, people aren't going to church anymore. And people back in the day, were on committees or did things with their community. And not only did they have free time with their family, they had free time with their community as well. We're all addicted to our smartphones. I know that I am. And she called me out so many times. She's like, talking, I was listening to it on audio book through Libby, and she's like, the people who listen to audiobooks at 2 times speed. Yep, that's me. I do that because I have all these books to read, and if a book becomes boring or redundant, I'm gonna skip paragraphs. I'm gonna read like the first sentence. That's how you speed read. You read the first sentence of every paragraph, and that's it. Like, that's how you get books read. I didn't do that with the Spellshop because it was so captivating and the descriptions were so great. But if a book becomes redundant, like Diavola, like, this is what I'm sure, I don't know if it's just me, if I get bored, or there needs to be more editing, but a lot of these books, they start out so strong and then they end, and like usually the second halves or the part twos of books, I'm just like, you lost me. But yeah, and or the people who sleep with their phone in their hand or under their pillow. Hello, that's me. I had to uninstall Instagram from my phone, and really I need to uninstall YouTube from my phone because YouTube videos will keep me up like all night, like just doom scrolling, watching ASMR videos, trying to fall asleep. But really what helps me fall asleep is listening to an audiobook with the phone upside down next to me. So when I know that I'm like on the edge or like just about to fall asleep, I can stop the audiobook. But that's just me. That's what I've discovered helps me sleep. Next, I read a YA. It was supposed to be romance, but there was no romance in this book. It's called Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. It was definitely Gilmore Girls fan fiction. It was a silly YA enemies to friends story, low stakes, silly premise. Why I say it's a silly premise is because it's about this girl who's 16 years old, Lucy Kane. The first few chapters have some laughs, but it starts out like she's daydreaming about this new boy, Jack. I think his name is Jack, and she thinks he's so dreamy and so cute and like out of her league. And he comes into her mom's store, Cup of Joe, and she ends up throwing a pie in his face because she finds out that his parents are the ones who own the franchise Java Junction, who decided to open up right across the street from her mom's coffee shop. So it's not her coffee shop, it's not his coffee shop, it's their parents. She just works for her mom and she bakes the goods in her mom's coffee shop and, you know, helps out with drinks and things like that. So she decides that Jack is her enemy and that she hates him, and so she's as mean as she can possibly be to this new guy. And Jack goes out of his way to be so nice to her. So Java Junction is obviously a stand-in for Starbucks, and they're known for their pumpkin spice latte. And so her mom's business starts failing, and Jack offers to help her come up with the perfect pumpkin spice latte, which Lucy hates pumpkin spice latte because of the chemicals. She hates the chemicals. She wants to find a healthy alternative, a fresh alternative. So she spends like a quarter of the book trying to figure out a recipe on how to make pumpkin spice latte when, hello, all she had to do was watch a couple YouTube videos and she'd get the recipe or a recipe, and then she could work on tweaking it. It was just so ridiculous, really. And that's what happened. Jack watched some YouTube videos and he helped her create this pumpkin spice latte. Really, she was a brat, unrealistic. Like, I just did not believe that she was a 16-year-old. She read like a 90-year-old woman. My thing is there was a bakery in town. Like, she talks about this bakery, and she wasn't rude to anybody in the bakery. Like, she was totally fine with this bakery being open. And it's like, the bakery, if you don't have a problem with a bakery, you should not have a problem with Java Junction. Like, it was just ridiculous. Jack wants Lucy to teach him how to bake because he doesn't know how to. You know, Java Junction, they have all the food just shipped in. So they're having a baking session in her house, and he doesn't know how to fill a cup, which really, it's no big deal in baking. It really doesn't matter. She's like, close enough. I sputter. There is no close enough in baking. Baking is a science. Every single part of it. A recipe can totally change, even by the way you stir the ingredients, the temperature of the ingredients, and certainly by how much ingredients you use. Okay, Lucy, calm down. Baking isn't a science, it's an art. And it's, you know what the secret ingredient is? It really is love. Like, come on. Like, she's so acts like a 90-year-old, and she's not big on social media. Like, how unrealistic. I'm sorry, but I have a how to make a pumpkin spice latte homemade on my Sarah's Prismatic Musings. I'll link it here. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, like, that book was 2.5 stars. And then, like I said, I'm reading Coraline by Neil Gaiman, and it's okay. I like the movie better so far. And I'm reading Kiki's Delivery Service by Iko Kadano right now, which is a super easy read. It's super cute, and I'm reading that because we're gonna go see the movie tomorrow, which I'm excited about. We just went and saw Howl's Moving Castle. My husband gave me the book a few years ago, and I haven't read it, but we went and saw the movie as well a few weeks ago, and the movie was excellent. We did not see the dubbed in English version. We saw it with subtitles. I want to see the dubbed version. I had no idea that Christian Bale was the one who did the voice for Howl. So now I want to see the dubbed in English version. What have you read this autumn for Halloween, or what's on your autumn reading list? How's your TBR going? How's your year of reading going? What fun things have you guys been doing? We went and saw this amazing street. We're gonna go back on Halloween. I'm so excited. It's so cool. They had to spend like a good $10,000-$15,000 on this one house, on their decorations. I took clips. I'll post the link here too. That's also on Sarah's Prismatic Musings. So we checked out that house. We went to the apple orchard, just decorating. I was supposed to have friends over this last Sunday, but with the flooding, they didn't come over. They were gonna just come look at our decorations and have some hot apple cider and hang out, but unfortunately, due to the weather, they couldn't. I'm super excited to be going up to Meow Wolf for their Halloween celebration. I love Meow Wolf, and I feel like for Halloween, it's gonna be so cool. We're definitely gonna go back to that street on Halloween, and my friend is having people over for a Halloween party. So I love Halloween. It's the happiest season of them all. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.